somebody's crying about something. And then I'm like, do I need to pay attention to this or not? Talking about the cats. And give me 1 second for this to go on so I can turn it off. Somebody's crying about something. Okay. Okay, and Cassie's just coming in. Alrighty, so we're just getting started. Oops, don't unmute. I was pressing mute, not asked to unmute. All right, so today for my embodiment PSA, I talked about a sense of wonder and finding the sense of wonder. And wonder can be very upregulating. So what I'd like to do today is kind of play with this idea of locating the sense of wonder, maybe within, maybe on the outside. And it may not even be that you're going to totally go into your sense of wonder, but maybe wondering about your sense of wonder. So let's just come in for a landing in our bodies, in maybe in stillness, if that feels good. And for anybody in the TV realms, you could be laying down. All of this practice is for you to really take in whatever way feels right for you in your body at this moment. So coming down and in, I might even just wonder, can I come down and in right now? What does it feel like if I start to connect to what is below me? In this case, I have this ball and my floor, underneath that, the earth. So really letting myself connect downwards into the earth, into being a human on the planet. Oh, Mary Abrams says, gravity says we belong, right? If we didn't belong, we would fall off or disappear. But here we are, connected to the earth, connected to the sense of this gravitational pull of the earth. So I want to actually play with the vertical dimension, or at least the up-downness in your body. So if you're laying down, it might not be the vertical dimension, you might be horizontal, but playing with the up to down. So as I'm sitting here underneath me, I can feel the sense of gravity going down. But now that I've kind of landed a little bit into that sense of downwardness, I also want to feel my sense of upwardness. So we could think about the central channel deep inside our bodies and this relationship to up and down. And even if I move my hands into the up space and the down space, the feeling in my body in each of those places is very different. So we could just come into this feeling of upness and downness, verticality, or the sky and the earth, heaven and earth. And feeling as if there really is something below us, holding us and supporting us and connecting us, rooting us to this planet. With maybe we're just feeling it with our imagination, but also feeling into what's above, what is up there, what is in the high space above us, right? So we have the up and the down. So for me, when I think about the sense of wonder, it's really this upward, expanding outward, radiating feeling. So if I just take my hands and move out like that, my whole awareness starts to blossom open into this sense of wonder. So I'm adding a little side with my up down, but I'm like a blossoming tree with the branches, or with a flower opening up. Just inviting in that sensation. If you were a lotus flower coming up above the water and then opening into the world, like how is that? And maybe it is interesting to move that, or maybe it's interesting just to stay in the idea of it. I really want to invite in movement if possible, even if it's really small, micro movement. But just this idea of what is it, even what is it to reach upwards and downwards at the same time? As I extend my branches, as I extend my wings of the heart and reach into the space above me, what am I coming into contact with? And also thinking about this sense of wonder as like, is it within? Is it on the outside? Where is the wonder around you? And where is the wonder inside of you? Even if you just have like a tiny little kernel, even if you wonder, where is my wonder? So letting yourself tune into that, like the openness of wonder. We haven't locked into our knowing. We're expanding and opening into a sense of, I wonder, I don't know. There's a sort of awe opening up. So as I do it, I feel it in my face. I feel it in my body. I particularly feel this upper chest, lungs, and heart kind of opening out into the world. If your story today is in a different place, if your story is like, oh, I wonder how nestled in I can get, then feel free to do that. You can also be in the enclosing, but we could even just play with that sense of kind of opening out and then closing in, feeling the difference in our relationship to those movements right now in this moment. What happens if I enclose into myself? And what happens if I radiate out and open up? And this could just be with my awareness. My awareness can blossom outward, or it can come in. My awareness can come into myself, into my center, into that central being. And if I'm coming into the in space, here's the question: can I go deeper? Right? Is there a place to find the depth as I'm sort of curling into myself, finding the internal, like spiraling wonder, or the external, letting yourself bounce between that? And you can do this again, seated, laying down, moving between those places. I'm actually going to share sound and share one little song that actually Anthony made this, and it's in Latin. But I feel like there's a lot of wonder in the song. It's really short. It's like almost 2 minutes, but it's super beautiful. So I'm just going to use it as a finding a sense of wonder in this music. And it's all vocals. He did it by himself. So it's him singing all the parts, and he made the whole thing, but it's a piece from the 1500s. So let yourself move with it. For a short little one. And if you have any kind of, that type of chorale music could have all sorts of associations with it. So if yours aren't good, I apologize for that. But just letting that stuff, the sound wash through you, wash over you. And if it's like yucky, let it go, let it release out. Let's use a little bit more music. This is going to be totally different. Jeff Gersh. Oh, I looked at all these songs and some of them I really love. Let's try this. It's new. It's from Olafsfjord. Oh, I can't even say it. Olafsfjord. That's as close as I can get to Icelandic naming of things. And yeah, thank you for everyone who bought me coffees. We achieved the goal that said I would buy more Jeff Gersh music, and I just did. So here we go. Finding your wonder. Outside, inside, upside down. And if it's too much to think about the wonder idea, maybe just playing with the up and the down, or with opening and closing. Offering yourself this moment to really nourish your body in whatever way feels good. Letting go of knowing and just being in the curiosity, in the exploration, in the, what's happening over here? What's this like? Is there something I can let go of? Is there some part of me that needs some extra attention? You can let go of the whole wonder idea, or you can stay with it, whatever feels good. Permission to move in any way. Sometimes just slow motion can really give my awareness a chance to be in harmony with myself, noticing what's happening. Tuning that one out, and I'm going to play one different piece of music. How this relates to the wonder. Or the up and downness. for me, the sense of wonder often has some lightness. It has this lift and this rising quality. But on the other side of that, there's also like the unknown. So that can have some more density and more strength and heaviness and shadowiness. And I feel like anytime we're working with one idea or one thing, then close beside it or within it or around it is the spectrum of the other side of that thing. And I was reading something Somatic Experiencing had posted on Instagram, and it was about how if you've been really busy all the time, then slowing down can be scary or triggering or can feel like, oh no. Or if you've, been so holding so much tension, then to relax and to let go can be like, oh no, can be scary. I'm totally massacring what they said, but there were all these different things of like, if you're in the real bump and grind and you start to soften yourself, it can be very destabilizing. That's the way to put it in my own words. So letting ourselves have time for our own sense of wonder, time for our own sense of timelessness, right? There's also a timelessness, like a spell has been cast in the sense of wonder for me. And I can be suspended in that place and not pushing through and driving through, but I can open my eyes wide and look around. I was also thinking about that, like little kids reaching up to their parents, right? Just every time you raise your arms up, what is that? And open the chest, open the heart, looking up. There's maybe some expectation or maybe some connection to what's up there. But how different that feels in our body than if we put our arms out in front or our arms down below. But tuning in to even the wonder of the space around you, like what is it like when my hands are over here or when my body is moving in these different ways? Just inviting in the curiosity and the inquiry practice, right? What is inquiry practice but to wonder what's going on and to bring your awareness and attention in. Without knowing the answer, right? To be in the sense of, I don't know. What is it like? Is there really an answer to any of these questions about how are we, who are we, what are we, what's happening right now? There's so many answers, there's almost no answers. And in a weird way, it's like being in the water, right? Like if you're in the ocean and the water is moving, you don't really have total control over what's going on in your body, right? You can move your body within the water, but the water's also going to move you. And on this idea of wonder, one more thing I was thinking about was when you drop a pebble or a stone into the water, you see on the surface these ripples going out, right? So the surface tension shows us the ripples of that stone going in the water. But what's happening in the water underneath that we can't see? How is the underneath unseen water rippling? And then above that in the air, how has the air changed as that pebble dropped through it or that stone dropped through it? And then those waves are happening. So what's happening in the air? How is it moving? How is it being affected by this drop of a stone? That was part of my wonder exploration today, to really wonder about what's going on in there. All of this stuff that's really unseen for us. Can we be in the experience of the unseen? The movement of the unseen. So much is moving. Like we don't see the wind because we see the wind. We see the wind because we see the trees moving, or we see the clouds moving, or we feel it. But we don't see the actual wind. We might see things blowing in the wind. And the same thing with the movement of the water. How do we see the movement of the water? We might see it from the surface. And inside, we might see the bubbles, or we might see the sand, or we might see creatures, but we're not seeing necessarily the movement of the water without those extra things there to help us understand it. So within your realm and your own sense of being in the world, there's probably a lot of stuff going on that you have no idea about, that's connected to your pattern of being a person in the world. Right? As you move through space, what effects are you leaving behind? And who's drawing you forward? Who's got your back? Who's at your side? Who's supporting you from underneath? And who are you reaching up to? Or maybe what? Maybe what is the question for those? So within all of that, we have this relationship around us, to the space around us, to ourself within the space, to what came before, what's coming ahead, the future and the past. Can we be in that, in a space of wonder where we don't have to clamp down on it, right? We can go, oh, I don't know what's going to happen next. I don't know. But I don't need to tense up before it happens because I don't even know what's going to happen. So finding a way to be in our wonder without clamping and gripping, right? All of this is just about letting go of those extra little clamps and grips that are holding on here and there. Letting the unseen water and the unseen air create more space for us, inside of us, with us. And then the energy of our thinking, of our intention, of our presence with ourselves, the energy of our awareness in the open world, and everything landing within us. Oh, I noticed this thing. When I saw this person, I felt such and such a way. Or when I was in the room with these people, this is what happened. Like when we start to notice in, then we can become more discerning about where we want to go and where we want to avoid, right? Oh yeah, I'm going to keep moving towards that because that just brings me life. Or I'm going to move away from that because that pattern feels a little old and crusty and it doesn't fit me anymore. So I'm going to slough it off, right? Just shake it out, shed that skin. As we're coming to the end of the year, getting ready for some new skin. What is that wonder? Oh. Some new skin, right? Are we ready to decrustify and just break off the old bark and have new, fresh skin in this new moment, in this new world? Just giving yourself some time to breathe with those ideas, to breathe them in and to breathe them out, right? They don't have to lodge in you. It can come and go. Everything doesn't have to be perfect. Perfect is impossible. And it's also too complete. We don't exist in that kind of a world where things really complete in that way. Maybe inviting in some breath and some breath sounds if that feels good. And for me, as I'm inviting in these breath sounds, I'm also kind of freeing up the pattern of my face. Mm. Maybe we have parts of ourselves that are just too overstuffed and overpacked. But maybe like letting those places have some more space isn't about pulling everything out and destroying what was there. Maybe it's about just recognizing that that is only a concept and an idea. And in reality, we're not stuffed over with anything. It's only our concepts about ourselves, right? So letting it fade like a specter, that idea, just fading away like a ghost. Or like thinking of like these ideas superimposed on other things, like my idea of my overstuffed house or my very empty, spacious house. Could be the same thing. I could expand it and go more into wonder by taking the house and just breaking down the walls and making it this world. Instead, let's make it bigger and more spacious. Or I can drop it down into nothing, right? Into just a little point inside of myself. All of this is just playing with reality in your mind, not even with outside of yourself. It doesn't have to be. Giving yourself more room. And whenever you need to, letting yourself come in for a landing. So easy when we tune into the gravity that we can feel the fluids in our body, the ground underneath us, the earth beneath us in relationship. Thinking of these concepts also sort of like living frameworks that are shifting and changing as we evolve. And sometimes things have fallen away and we don't even notice it. And suddenly we're like, oh, I feel free in this way. I didn't used to be that way. And like we don't notice it because it was so effortless to let go. So often the stories we tell ourselves keep uh, reinstalling the pattern within ourselves. So if we don't want to, like we get married to our stories, right? And then, oh yeah, this happened and that happened. And, oh, and then it always happens like that. And da, da, da. It's like, yeah, because you keep marrying the story. Let the story just fall away. Just let the story fall. And just be in the what is right now. Anytime you say anything about yourself, about I'm like that or I do this, you're installing that pattern of you're who I am. Maybe just laugh at yourself when you do that. Maybe there's more room inside of you. Maybe there are whole undiscovered territories that are just behind like a thin veil, waiting to be seen. Letting yourself come in and land with that. Yeah. You can wash it away or let it wash over you, right? Anything that's happening, anything that is good or bad, you can wash it away or let it wash over you, either one. And letting yourself come in for a close. Let's just rub our hands together. for a second and then cover our eyes in a very loving way. So I'm kind of cupping them and just closing my eyes in there. Feeling the depth of my eyeballs in my head. Big, bulby balls of water. And then I'm going to just let my hands slide down easily, and I'm going to cross one over and just holding onto my upper traps and kind of softening in. Letting go of any extra tension, taking off the backpack of other people's expectations or even your own expectations of yourself. Oh, I didn't do enough today. Oh, all that stuff. No, let it go. And then letting your hands come down and taking a hand. I'm going to take a hand actually on my sacrum and a hand on my belly. I'm just going to breathe into the depth of my body with the message that I don't need to be smaller and I don't need to conform to anyone else's ideas of who I am. And in fact, the world is a better place if you really share who you are. From a deep gut level with the heart and the brains all involved, all three systems working together as one big system, which is you. Alrighty, TV land, gonna close it out there. Please like and subscribe. I'm at 999 subscribers. I need 1,000. I also need like 2,000 more